Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter 16. I'm going to read from text 41 today. Would anyone like to say what you remember from yesterday's reading?
Hare Krishna. So
Hare Krishna.
we heard about being engaged in Krishna consciousness to understand Krishna and be immune to the process of birth and death. And we also heard from Prabhupada saying, quoting from Bhagavad Gita 4.9, even Krishna has said to Arjuna, if one understands the transcendental nature of his appearance and activities, he will attain his eternal abode. And even if one comes to Krishna consciousness somehow or the other, for material gain, or even with material consciousness of being influenced by envy, fear, or affection, or for any reason, even his life will be successful. He will also steadily go back to Godhead. So he encourages everyone to come to Krishna consciousness. And then we heard Citraketu continuing his prayers, saying, "Oh, calling out the Lord, O unconquerable one, that you have spoken in Bhagavad Dharma, and for achieving the shelter of your lotus feet, that was your victory. And that persons who have no material desires, like Kumaras and self-satisfied sages, worship you, and they are liberated from material contamination. They accept the process of Bhagavad Dharma too." And Prabhupada quotes from many of the scriptures. From Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, uh, he has quoted about Srila Rupa Goswami, who has also stated, rendering transcendental loving service uh, for Lord Krishna favorably, what pleases him, and then also without the desire for material profit or gain, or through fruitive activities or any philosophical speculation. That is pure devotional service. Prabhupada also quotes from Narad Pancharatra the similar thing, that we should give up the material designation that will help us be cleansed of material contamination. Rendering service to the Lord, we can restore our pure identity. We should give up our false ego and engage our senses, mind, and have a broader intelligence. That is pure devotional service. So it's advised to, read from and listen to Bhagavad Gita, Narad Pancharatra, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. When thus living entities are following the instructions from the Lord himself, then, and if they adopt it, then it's victory for the Lord, and then he reclaims these fallen souls. So he advises everyone to take Krishna consciousness and bring the fallen souls to Krishna consciousness. That is the victory for the Lord. And we also heard about the supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is to attain the loving devotional service, unmotivated and uninterrupted, in order to completely satisfy the Lord. And then we also heard about the other forms of religion. They have so many, they are full of contradictions, and they are all about under the conceptions of you and I, yours and mine. But Srimad Bhagavatam has no such consciousness. It's only, if one is actually Krishna conscious, he is equipoised to all. His only engagement is to induce others to surrender to Lord Krishna. He believes in the Supreme Lord and carries out his orders. That's all he does. And he knows God is one and is for everyone, and there's no conception of yours or mine. And that's why he has no enemies, because he takes the qualities of the God. He's friends to everyone. And uh, we see Bhagavad Dharma catches the presence of the Supreme Lord in everything, as everything emanates from him, from Brahman. And therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is called the pure transcendental process of religion. Yeah, so we heard up till here yesterday. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so pure unmotivated, thank you very much. Unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service completely satisfies the self. So we can be completely satisfied when we can engage in favorable devotional service, which is uninterrupted and unmotivated. Apratihata sui ina suprasidati. Okay, so then going on. Vishamatirna yatra nirnam.
So we had one paragraph
only
from...
one paragraph left for this, no, to read.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, the last paragraph of this one. So we'll continue with that. Bhagavad Dharma is called Sarvot Krishta, the best of all religious systems, because those who follow Bhagavad Dharma are not envious of anyone. Pure Bhagavatas, pure devotees invite everyone without envy to join the Krishna consciousness movement, because the devotee, pure devotee, understands that everyone is part and parcel of God. So that's why he has no envy. He sees everyone equal, understanding that each and every living entity has a loving relationship with God. And he understands that Krishna's mood, what is Krishna's mood? To bring everyone back home. So he's taking up the mission of Krishna and he's encouraging everyone to go back home. So he's not envious of anyone. He doesn't want to see anyone suffer. He wants everyone to go back home. That's why he said without envy. A devotee is therefore exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Suridam Sarva Bhutanam is the friend of all living entities. Doesn't mean the devotee becomes God, no. But the mood is the same. He's the best friend of everyone. Only God is God. Nobody can become God. The devotee is a confidential servant of God. He loves God very much, and that's why he always wants to carry out the orders of the Lord. You know, like a loving son. He understands, oh, this is my father's wish. So let me fulfill my father's desire. So therefore, this is the best of all religious systems, whereas so-called religions are meant for a particular type of person who believes in a particular way. Such discrimination has no place in Krishna consciousness or Bhagavad Dharma. If we scrutinize the religious systems meant for worship of demigods or anyone else but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will find that they are full of envy and therefore impure. Why full of envy? Because keeping still here in the material world, what is real non-enviousness is when we can actually awaken everyone to spiritual consciousness. Because till the time we are here in the material world, we will always suffer. So real non-enviousness is bringing everyone back home, back to Godhead. And that is only Bhagavad Dharma does that, encouraging everyone to go back home. And other religious systems, why? Because then it still keeps one here in the material world. Maybe go up to the heavenly planets, enjoy for some time. But yet, the suffering is still going to come because still in the material world. So that's why it's said this way. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go on to the next one then. Kashemo nija parayo.
Kashemo nija parayo.
Yan vartha swaparadruha dharmena.
Yan vartha swaparadruha dharmena.
Sadrohat tava kopa.
Sadrohat tava kopaha.
Para sampidaya cha tatha dharmaha.
Parasampidaya cha tatha adharmaha.
How can a religious system that produces envy of oneself and of others be beneficial for oneself and for them? What is auspicious about following such a system? What is actually to be gained? By causing pain to one's own self due to self-envy, and by causing pain to others, one arouses your anger and practices irreligion. So Citraketu is saying a system of religion which is promoting envy, how can it be pleasing to you? How can it be pleasing to anyone? Because it's going to cause suffering. So purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Any religious system but the process of Bhagavad Dharma, service as an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a system of envy of one's own self and of others. So self-envy. Why is it saying self-envy? Anyone?
Because if we are envious to others, then we are causing the suffering. And
But why is it called self-envy then?
because we will also suffer.
Exactly.
We will also suffer.
We will
Yeah.
also suffer. Yeah. Till the time we are in the material world, we are causing our own suffering. That's why it's saying self-envy. Till the time we continue to remain in the material world, we are causing our own suffering. Suffering for ourselves and suffering for others. So we are envious of ourselves and envious of others. Only when we engage in devotional service, then we can rise above this envy and suffering, because then we are going to the spiritual world, no more suffering. For example, there are many systems of religion in which animal sacrifices are recommended. Such animal sacrifices are inauspicious, both for the performer and for the animal. Although one is sometimes permitted to sacrifice an animal before the goddess Kali and eat it instead of purchasing meat from a slaughterhouse. Permission to eat meat after a sacrifice in the presence of the goddess Kali is not the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is simply a concession for the miserable person who will not give up eating meat. It is to restrict his desire for unrestricted meat eating. Such a religious system is condemned. So Prabhupada is giving the example of animal sacrifice, that the Vedas do allow concession for someone who has the desire to eat meat. And under certain rules and regulations, it's not said that you can indiscriminately kill animals, open slaughterhouses. No. Vedas say on a particular day, at a particular time, at a particular place, chanting particular mantras, particular type of animal can be sacrificed to goddess Kali and then eaten. And the mantra say, as I'm killing you now, you can kill me in my next life. So, but that is not what Krishna's order is. Krishna's order is Sarva Dharmam Parityagya, surrender unto me. But this kind of, so one may say, then why do the Vedas say this? Because Vedas understand, Srila Vyasadeva understands that we each are in different modes of nature. So to help us gradually elevate, gradual elevation, giving up ignorance, coming to passion, giving up passion, coming to goodness. Idea is not to stay on one level, but to progress and eventually to transcend all the modes, come on the spiritual platform. That is what Krishna wants. Krishna wants us to come to the transcendental platform. Therefore, Krishna says, Sarva Dharmam Parityagya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Give up all other duties and surrender unto me. That is the last word in religion. So one may argue that the sacrifice of animals is recommended in the Vedas. This recommendation, however, is a restriction. Without Vedic restrictions on the purchase of meat, people will purchase meat from the market, which will be overflooded with meat shops, and slaughterhouses will increase. To restrict this, sometimes the Vedas say that one may eat meat after sacrificing an insignificant animal like a goat before the goddess Kali. So we can see that now, because no rules and regulations of the Vedas are being followed in this regard. So there's slaughterhouses everywhere. In any case, a system of religion in which animal sacrifices are recommended is inauspicious for those who perform the sacrifices and for the animals. Envious persons who perform ostentatious animal sacrifices are condemned in Bhagavad Gita 16.17 as follows. Atma sambhavita stabdha dhana mana madanvita yajante nama yagyeste dambhena vidipurvakam. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige. They sometimes perform sacrifices in name only and without following any rules or regulations. So Krishna is saying us to rise above all this. That's why he's saying give up all, abandon all varieties of religion. He's saying come to the parodharma. Parodharma, surrender to Krishna. Engage in devotional service. That is the actual duty of every soul. Each of us are souls, living entities. Sometimes animal sacrifices are performed very gorgeously with grand arrangements for worshipping the goddess Kali. But such festivals, although performed in the name of yajna, are not actually yajna. For yajna means to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What does yajna mean?
Satisfy Lord Krishna. The yajnas are done to please Lord Krishna.
Yeah, any activity which is done for the pleasure of Krishna, that is called yajna. So therefore it is recommended that in this age specifically, yajna sankirtana prior, yajanti hi sumedasa. Those who have good intelligence satisfy the yajna purush, Vishnu, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So this is what is recommended for us in this age of Kali. Bhagavatam is saying that in age of Kali, those who are actually intelligent are going to please Krishna by joining the Sankirtan movement, by congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Envious persons, however, are condemned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as follows. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam cha samshrita mam atma paradeheshu pradvishanto bhya suyakaha tan aham dvishta kruran samsareshu naradaman shipami ajasram ashubhan asurishva eva yonishu, bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger. The demon becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in his own body and in the bodies of others, and blasphemes against the real religion. So, what are a few demoniac qualities?
Anger, greed, pride,
Yes.
power, mithya, ahankar, ghamand, kam, krodh, lobh, moh.
Yeah. Lust, envy, we can see all these are actually demoniac qualities. And so then by what we say, encouraging these qualities in us, we are increasing our envy of God, envy of our own self, envy of everyone else. So those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Bhagavad Gita 16:18 to 19. So Krishna is saying that those who are envious, Krishna puts them in demoniac species. Because he says, that's your desire. So I will give you a suitable body so that you can fulfill your desire. Somebody likes to fly. So Krishna says, okay, I give you body of a bird. Don't struggle so much. Somebody likes to swim. Okay, body of a fish. Somebody likes to sleep too much. Okay, become a polar bear. Krishna is saying, why you want to struggle? What your desire, I give you body accordingly. And those who have desire to go to the spiritual world, Krishna says, I give you your spiritual body. So these persons, so the demoniac, then they are condemned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as indicated by the words Tavakopa. A person who commits murder is envious of himself and also the person he has killed. For the result of committing murder is that he will be arrested and hanged. If one transgresses the laws of a man-made government, he may escape being killed by the state, but one cannot escape the laws of God. So here again, this is what Citraketu is saying, that when we are not following laws of God, we are being envious of our own self. Why we are being envious of our own self? Because we are inviting misery for our own self. We are causing our own suffering. Like Prahlad Maharaj, like there is a reference, right? That the camel is eating the thorns and saying, oh, so yummy. But what's happening is the thorns are pricking his tongue is bleeding, and he's enjoying that eating. So causing his own misery and thinking it's very pleasurable. So we are envious of our own self when we are causing our own misery. So Prabhupada is saying we may escape man-made laws. Sometimes someone's a criminal but may not be tried by the court or the justice. But laws of karma are very, very stringent. They don't leave us. A killer of any animal must be killed in his next life by the same animal. This is the law of nature. One must follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Sarva dharman parityagya mam ekam sharanam raja. If one follows any other system of religion, he is subject to punishment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in many different ways. So what is the instruction of the Lord?
That just surrender unto me, and
That's right.
that's me.
Yeah, surrender unto me. Yeah. So therefore, if one follows a concocted system of religion, he is envious not only of others, but also of himself. Consequently, his system of religion is useless. Because then that is just mental speculation, not following the orders of God. Because as you just said, order of God is surrender to me. Srimad Bhagavatam 128 says, Dharma swanusthita pumsam vishvakshena kathasuya notpadayed yadi ratim shrama eva hi kevalam. Duties, dharma, executed by men, regardless of occupation, are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the Supreme Lord. Following a system of religion that does not awaken one's Krishna consciousness or God consciousness is merely a waste of time and labor. So what is being said here? Anyone?
That if we are not able to, like the sandesh, like that is what is given by Krishna, if we don't get attracted to it, and if we don't consider it as a dharma, then to bring other people to devotional service and engage them in devotional service and follow, then it is all useless.
Yeah. If we don't surrender to Krishna, then everything else that we are doing becomes useless. Because the dharma, our duty is devotional service, beginning with surrender to God. So if we don't surrender, and then we may make up some fancy terms of what we are doing, and then that is called useless labor. Yeah, thank you. Did you want to comment more, or any questions?
So this shows that how devotional service is, like Krishna becomes happy in so small things what we do. Like as we have always read that how even if we offer the prayers, that's devotional service. And if we just offer a flower, that's devotional service. Even if we just remember him, seeing a tree or mountains or river, that, oh, that is the navel of Krishna, all the oceans, that is the navel of Krishna. So if we are just doing that, that is also counted as devotional service. And so he's so merciful that even for that, like, I mean, he's so merciful that he considered that also as a devotional service. And just offering obeisances to his devotees, just being in their association, all this is devotional service. So he's so merciful that he's ready to consider these small, but we as fools, I'm talking about myself, consider that, oh, it is so difficult sometimes to please Krishna. But I think pleasing Krishna is the easiest part. Easiest. Just offer him little water, a tulsi leaf, nothing else. Just sing for him, offer the prayers. I mean, when we think about it, sometimes it is so simple, but we make it so complicated.
That's
Is it,
right.
Shilpa ji? No.
It's true. It's true. What you're saying is completely right. It's true. Krishna does not want us to do anything difficult. He does not want us to like conquer kingdoms or create great wealth or create or discover something, He's not telling us to do any of those things. No, he's just saying man mana bhava mad bhakto. Engage your mind in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me. Yeah. And as you said, offer me leaf, water, flower, and Krishna's happy. It's like, if we can try to understand the relationship between a mother and a child, mother does not want child to give her something great. He just gives her a hug and a kiss. Oh, mom, I love you. And she's so happy. What else does the mother want? The child comes and gives her a hug. Oh, mom, I love you so much. Mm. That's her greatest pleasure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Na vyabhicharati taveksha
Vicharati taveksha
yaya hi abhihito bhagavato dharma
Yaya hi abhihiti
abhihitu
bhagavato
bhagavato
dharmaha
dharmaha
sthirachara sattva kadambesha
tirachara
Tirachara
sattva
sadambeshu
katambitva
aprathak dhiyo yam upasate tva arya.
aprathak
prathakti
diyo yam
yam
upasate tu
upasate tu
arya.
arya.
My dear Lord, one's occupational duty is instructed in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita according to your point of view, which never deviates from the highest goal of life. Those who follow their occupational duties under your supervision, being equal to all living entities, moving and non moving, and not considering high and low, are called Aryans. Such Aryans worship you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Dharma and Krishna Katha are identical. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to become a guru and preach the instructions of Krishna everywhere, from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Puranas, Vedanta Sutra, and similar Vedic literature. Now Chaitanya says, on my order, become a guru. And means what? Become guru means what? Giving Krishna to others, giving the message of Krishna to others, preaching to others the glories of Krishna, encouraging others to take up devotional service. So Aryans who are advanced in civilization follow Bhagavad Dharma. Prahlad Maharaj, although merely a child of 5 years, recommended. This is in Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6, Text 1. Kaumara acharet pragyo dharman bhagavatan iha durlabham manusham janma tadapi adhruvam arthadam. Prahlad Maharaj preached Bhagavad Dharma among his classmates as soon as an opportunity was afforded by the absence of his teachers from the classroom. So the friends were saying, why you're not playing with us? Why you're not playing with us? He said that from the very beginning of life, from the age of 5, children should be instructed about Bhagavad Dharma, because the human form of life, which is very rarely obtained, is meant for understanding this subject. Bhagavad Dharma means living according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, we find that the Supreme Lord has arranged human society in 4 social divisions, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Again, the Puranas and other Vedic literatures set forth 4 ashrams, which are the divisions of spiritual life. Therefore, Bhagavad Dharma means the Varna Sharma Dharma of the 4 social and spiritual divisions. So, Krishna says that he has created the Varna Sharma society based on guna and karma, not based on birth. But the aim of everyone is to revive our love for Krishna. So that is Bhagavad Dharma, following the instructions of Krishna, surrendering to Krishna. That is Bhagavad Dharma. The members of human society who strictly follow the principles of Bhagavad Dharma and live according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Aryans or Arya. So Aryan means highly civilized. They were highly civilized. They understood Bhagavad Dharma. They were following the orders of Lord Krishna. A civilization of Aryans who strictly follow the instructions of the Lord and never deviate from those instructions is perfect. So Aryan means one who's living a living Bhagavad. He's living his life according to the principles of Bhagavad Gita, according to the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam. Such civilized men do not discriminate between trees, animals, human beings, and other living entities. Pandita Samadarshina, because they are completely educated in Krishna consciousness, they see all living beings equally. Aryans do not kill even a small plant unnecessarily, not to speak of cutting trees for sense gratification, because they are seeing every living entity as part and parcel of Krishna. No one separated from Krishna. They're seeing everyone belonging to Krishna. So they have an equal vision. Krishna says in chapter 5, text 18, Pandita Samadarshina. Well, I'm not sure is it text 18 or which text. But anyway, Krishna is speaking about the learned, that one who's actually learned sees everyone with equal vision, because he can see the Paramatma in everyone's heart. And he can see that everyone is a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So tree is also a living entity. Prabhupada is saying one who's really a Aryan will not even kill a tree unnecessarily. At the present moment, throughout the world, killing is prominent. Men are killing trees, they're killing animals, and they're killing other human beings also, all for sense gratification. This is not an Aryan civilization. As stated here, Sthirachara Sattva Kadambesha Apratagdiya. The word Apratagdiya indicates that Aryans do not distinguish between lower and higher grades of life. All life should be protected. All living beings have a right to live, even the trees and plants. This is the basic principle of an Aryan civilization. So Prabhupada is explaining that it's not that Aryan will say, oh, this one is a tree and animal, so their life is not important, so we can kill them. No, Aryan understands that every life is important, because every living entity is a soul, part and parcel of Krishna. Doesn't matter the body. He's not making the distinctions on body. He understands that even this tree is a soul, even this animal is a soul. So he's respecting every living entity. Apart from the lower living entities, those who have come to the platform of human civilization should be divided into a society of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So then, as Krishna divided the human society, Brahmana, Shudra, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The Brahmanas should follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures. So Brahmanas, they are the intelligent class of society. They are supposed to lead the society to God consciousness. They're supposed to teach everyone spiritual consciousness teach everyone how to live peacefully in this world, cultivate spiritual knowledge at the end of life, give up this body and go back to the spiritual world. So the Brahmanas would be engaged in studying and teaching the scriptures. So the criterion is not on birth, not that one is born in the family of lawyers, so he becomes a lawyer automatically. No, one has to qualify oneself as a lawyer, has to study in the qualified law school and then, pass the examination. So similarly, from Brahmana, criterion must be guna and karma. In other words, one should acquire the qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra and act accordingly. So not only for Brahmana, the criterion is guna and karma, but everyone, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This is the civilization accepted by the Aryans. Why do they accept it? They accept it because they are very much eager to satisfy Krishna. This is perfect civilization. So one who actually acts for the pleasure of Krishna, he is a true Aryan. Like Krishna was telling Arjuna, no, you are Aryan. How come these doubts have come to you? So Aryans do not deviate from the instructions of Krishna, nor do they have doubts about Krishna. But non-Aryans and other demoniac people fail to follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. This is because they have been trained in sense gratification at the cost of all other living entities. So one who actually is following the instructions of Krishna, as Krishna stated in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that person is a true Aryan, one who surrenders to Krishna. So nunam pramata kurute vikarma. Their only business is to indulge in all kinds of forbidden activities for sense gratification. So this is Prabhupada is saying the non-Aryans. We can see practically all of us are in this. Yad indriya pritaya apranoti. They deviate in this way because they want to gratify their senses. They have no other occupation or ambition. Their method of civilization is condemned in the previous verse. Ka shemo nija prayo, kiyan vartha swapara druha dharmena. What is the meaning of a civilization that kills oneself and others? So our modern civilization is like this. Now we are living in a society in which we are self-envious and envious of others because our only goal is sense gratification. And with that, then we are just creating more and more lives for ourselves in this material world. In the short term, we may we may experience some enjoyment, but that enjoyment will very soon turns into suffering. So we are being encouraged here. Citraketu is saying, follow Bhagavad Dharma, follow the order of Supreme Lord, engage in devotional service, engage in hearing and chanting to the Supreme Lord. Let's see how much we can finish. This verse therefore advises that everyone become a member of the Aryan civilization and accept the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So is it that being an Aryan is based on birth? That only one who's born in Aryan family can be an Arya?
No.
No, that's right. It's based on our own work. How are we leading our life? So one should conduct his social, political, and religious affairs according to his instructions. We are spreading the Krishna consciousness movement to try to establish a society the way that Krishna wants it. This is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. We are therefore presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is and kicking out all kinds of mental concoction. Fools and rascals interpret Bhagavad Gita in their own way. When Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. They comment that it is not Krishna to whom we must surrender. Thus, they derive imaginary meanings from Bhagavad Gita. So, Prabhupada is explaining that there's so many editions of Bhagavad Gita, so many people are writing their commentary on Bhagavad Gita, but keeping Krishna out of Bhagavad Gita or misinterpreting Krishna's words, misrepresenting Krishna's words. For example, Prabhupada is saying that Krishna is saying, Man mana bhava mad bhakto. Always think of me. Krishna is saying, think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer homage unto me. But some people in their commentary of Bhagavad Gita say that, oh, no, not that we have to surrender to Krishna. We have to surrender to something inside Krishna. We have to surrender to something else than Krishna. But that is imaginary meanings from Bhagavad Gita. We simply have to hear Bhagavad Gita as Krishna has spoken it and as Arjuna has understood. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, strictly follows Bhagavad Dharma, the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, for the complete welfare of human society. One who misinterprets Bhagavad Gita, twisting out some meaning for his sense gratification, is a non-Aryan. So we need to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Krishna spoke it, as Arjuna understood it. Therefore, commentaries on Bhagavad Gita by such persons should be immediately rejected. One should try to follow Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that's why it's so important to hear Bhagavad Gita from the devotee, one who's coming in the disciplic succession. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, 6-7, Lord Krishna says, Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara ananyeneva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagara bhavami na chirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. For one who worships me, giving up all his activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pritha. For him, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So Prabhupada is quoting Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12 here, where Krishna is saying that when one becomes a pure devotee, one who worships him, giving up all his activities unto me, means all the activities the devotee is doing for the pleasure of Krishna, completely devoted to Krishna. He has love for Krishna. He is always serving Krishna, always remembering Krishna, always thinking of Krishna. Then Krishna brings him out of this material world. Such a person does not need to be in the material world anymore. Krishna brings him to the spiritual world because his consciousness is already spiritual. So he doesn't need to be. He has no need to be in the material world anymore. Is that okay?
Yes.
Did you all want to add anything or comment on it?
I just wanted to say what you said, that nobody is born Aryan. So, and we also have that consciousness for all the jivas, like how you mentioned the Pandit. So there was this story I heard from one of the Maharaj, and he said that this and this is a real story of a person who studied and who got elected as the state councillor or something. I'm not remembering the exact position of his, but then he was selected. And then when he was driving on the way with her wife and his ministers and everybody, then they saw, on the roadside of Bihar, there is this nest of manna or some bird. So the wife said that, oh, can you please get me these two nests? It is so beautiful. It will look so beautiful in the house. So he got down and then he asked the boy on the roadside that, oh, wow, can you get me these two nests? Then the boy said, no, I cannot get you the two nests. He said, why? Just get me two. It's okay. He said, sir, when the bird will come back and when the bird will look for its children, she will be so sad. Don't you understand that simple thing? And then he said that I became an IA. That is civil service officer he was at a very high post. He said, I became that. Education, I got the education, but the sanskar are so important because he is considering even that small bird is a jiva. And I was so mistakenful. So that shows that we need to have that compassion for all the jivas. So this was the story that I heard. This was in relation with like how we can consider every living jeev as a Krishna's part and parcel and not hurt them.
Oh, it's such a beautiful story. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Such a good reminder for all of us. Okay. So, thank you everyone. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.